Michael Montero, just heading home from the boxing gym. I needed to go beat up something tonight. I needed to hit something. Getting pretty damn frustrated at this Golovkin-Jacobs situation. And, I've made several videos about this already. I don't know how much more clear I can make it. Some of you guys out there are still wanting to blame Team Golovkin, K2 Promotions. And look, I'm not saying that Jacob's side is 100% responsible. All sides carry some of the blame, and that includes the WBA, because they've been very indecisive. They've really showed a lack of leadership here. But it's very, very clear that Team Jacobs carries the lion's share of the responsibility for the can continuing to get kicked down the damn road regarding this fight. For those of you who don't know, the WBA has constantly stalled on this thing, going back to the beginning of this year. If you remember, sometime last year, they said that they were going to consolidate all their multiple titleists in each division. Well, where are they on that promise? They haven't kept any of their damn promises regarding any of this shit. But with Golovkin and Jacobs, look, they both kind of had an interim fight earlier this year. Golovkin fought Brook, and Jacobs fought Sergio Mora for the second time. Two fights nobody really wanted to see. And then right after that, of course, the WBA said, hey, you guys, we're for real now. Finally, we're for real. You guys got to negotiate this fight. And they had a certain time frame, and I'm not going to get into all the details. I've already done a million videos on this, right? Well, that deadline came and went. And then the WBA said, okay, we're going to purse bid. Well, they ended up pushing the purse bid back, gave an extension. You remember Danny Jacobs and his team asked if they could get the purse bid split changed, even though they knew the rules, the WBA rules. It was 75-25, and they've known that. They've held that title for 2 damn years. Golovkin's held the title, I think it's either 4 years, maybe 6 years he's held that WBA title. So they all knew the rules going in. Anyway, here we are again. Today, December 7th, was another deadline that was met. The WBA said, you guys got 7 days to figure this shit out. Well, 7 days came and went, no deal. So now the WBA is saying, we're gonna go to another purse bid on December 19th at our meeting in Panama, I think it is. They're meeting in Panama. Because, I don't know, the purse bid didn't work before. I guess magically they think it's gonna work this time. Look, we're at the point now where the fans have been jerked off long enough, and they've been ripped off of a fight. You remember Gennady Golovkin and HBO were agreed to with the date on December 10th. And that's the big difference that the Golovkin haters and the Jacobs pom-pom waivers seem to be forgetting. Golovkin and his side and his network that he has an exclusive contract to fight on, HBO. They had a date set, December 10th. Peter Nelson, the guys at HBO, told Golovkin, look, this is your date. Give us a short list of opponents. Boom, here you go, right? Jacobs was sitting on his ass. No date, no short list of opponents, and that's pretty much what he's done this year, last year. That's what him and a lot of people in his promotional outfit do. They sit around. They don't fight. So one fighter had a date. The other fighter didn't. One fighter's exclusive to HBO, the other fighter's a free agent. The WBA stepped in and said, you two have to make this fight next. No interim fight, you have to fight next, or you're getting stripped. So basically, this whole situation has the division hostage, particularly the division's #1 fighter, Gennady Golovkin, because if he drops the belt, if he fights somebody else other than Jacobs, he's going to get stripped. If he drops the belt, he loses one of his biggest bargaining chips, right? Because for him, he's the boogeyman. Nobody wants to fight him. His biggest bargaining chip is the title belts themselves. So, okay, here we are now. Expect this thing. Nothing's going to get solved by the 19th. Wouldn't be surprised if the WBA grants another extension into 2017. More to come about that. Here's what I want to know from you Jacobs people who seem to think this is all Golovkin's fault. And even some of you are bringing up Irizlandi Lara and all this dumb shit, who's not even a factor. And Billy Joe Saunders, he's a complete bust. I think he's going to end up losing his title to a journeyman. He's going to fight the wrong guy on the wrong night after a layoff. He almost lost his fight last Saturday against the Russian, Artur Akhirov. He's going to end up losing that title before he cashes out against Canelo or Golovkin anyway. He's an idiot. He's a complete non-factor. Canelo, we know that fight's going to happen with Golovkin next September. Until then, the best fight that could be made in the middleweight division, one of the best fights that could be made in boxing, period, between the two best middleweights right now is Golovkin-Jacobs. And if you're Team Jacobs and your intention was to never fight until next year anyway, I'm not trying to say that Jacobs and his team don't want the fight. I'm not going to go that far. But it's clear that their intention was not to fight Golovkin until at least the spring of 2017. And if that was your intention all the way, regardless of the reasoning, maybe it's because you're holding out because you think there's going to be more network money next year. It might free up some investor money for a purse bid. Whatever it is, if that was your intention all along, why not tell Golovkin and HBO and all those people months ago, so that they could take that fight December 10th. Why not inform them? Why not sit down with Golovkin, HBO, and the WBA and ask for an exemption, an extension, ask for an interim fight to be held? The WBA is bent over backwards, making all kinds of exemptions and extensions already, in this case, in multiple other cases. I'm sure they would grant another interim fight for Golovkin on December 10th, this Saturday. He should be fighting this Saturday. And for Jacobs, maybe, you know, early in 2017, and then maybe the two of them would meet next spring. Why not say that up front? Why continue to play these games? Why the constant, endless fuckery jerking off boxing fans and everybody else in the business? Why? Well, I doubt they're doing all this to squabble over $100,000, because that's how minute the financial stuff is now, okay? And just for the record, K2 and Tom Loeffler and those guys, they already offered Danny Jacobs a career high payday, right? And they already offered him a bigger chunk than the 25% purse bid split. If you don't believe that, then why didn't Tom Loeffler and those guys just push for a purse bid the first week in negotiations? It's because they were trying to get a deal done, and they were offering a more than 25% in the first place. So Jacobs has already been given a more than fair offer here. But the only other reason I could think you're doing this, if you're Team Jacobs, is to get Gennady Golovkin off his schedule, to delay him. You know the guy likes to fight 3 times a year. You know the guy likes to be in training camp at this time. You know that there's a certain schedule him and the HBO guys are trying to keep him on. So the only thing I could think of is that they're trying to get the guy off his schedule, catch him off his game, catch him slipping, and then in the 13th hour, when you catch him slipping, call him up on the phone and say, yo, let's make this fight. Either that, or you're trying to frustrate the guy so much to where he finally says, fuck this, and he dumps the belt, and then you have the full WBA title, and you could go and tell your legions of fans, your dozens of fans, that that this guy never wanted to fight you anyway, and he ducked you. And there are people out there who would believe it. They're on Twitter. Trust me, I deal with these fucks every fucking day. 2017 New Year's resolution. I'm gonna start blocking all y'all motherfuckers though. Trust me. I'm gonna be the block king in 2017. I'm done trying to reason with fuckheads. There's too many fucking Mama Lukes on Twitter, and I ain't dealing with it no more. I tried to be fucking practical. Speaking of practical, pragmatic, all that. That's what Tom Loeffler's trying to be here. He's not going to pull a Kathy Duva at main events when she really talked a lot of shit about the guys at Rock Nation during the promotion with Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev. Tom Loeffler's not going to pull that move right now. You know, he tries to be very pragmatic and practical, diplomatic, I should say, in these situations. But there's going to come a point here where the boys at the WBA are going to have to put their foot down and strip somebody's ass. And if a deal ain't getting made by December 19th, again, all parties share a little bit of blame. But the lion's share of the blame here, given the history of all the parties involved, and I don't need to go back years and years and years, we could just go back to recent years, the last 24 months, and you look at the situation, how both fighters and their management have acted and how they've handled negotiations like this. I can cite a million examples here. I think we know who's kicking the can down the road, who's pushing this thing constantly backwards, right? WBA's got to do the right thing here. In 12 days, another purse bid. If a deal ain't met by then and this thing goes to purse, they cannot extend this thing again. They can't do it. No more extensions or anything. There's been too much fuckery. WBA's got to step up. Team Jacobs try to pull some more shit and say, no. We want a bigger share of the purse bid split. We want a gift certificate to Macy's. We want our asshole waxed. Whatever the fuck he says to try to push this thing back again, the WBA is to say, fuck you, we're stripping you. Boxing fans deserve better than this shit. 2016 has been a really, really rough year. It's bad enough that if this thing does get made, because of the financial demands being made from one particular side of it, it's going to be pay-per-view. Tentative date, March 18th. But either way, man, Golovkin got shit out of a fight on December 10th already. HBO subscribers that were looking forward to that fight. And it wasn't going to be a fight of the year, or it wasn't going to be a matchup that the boxing world was waiting for. It was going to be another B-level, stay busy type opponent, but it was going to be in front of another sellout crowd and do a good rating on TV. HBO Boxing needs that and owes it to their subscribers. No more bullshit. March 18th, Golovkin should be fighting somebody. If it ain't Danny Jacobs, make it Andy Lee. It's in New York, St. Patrick's Day. That makes a lot of sense. Andy Lee, even if it's Korobov, I don't care. But the WBA needs to do the right thing. Peter Nelson at HBO needs to put his foot down. No more fuckery. That's it. I'm home. About to pull into my garage here, take a shower, drink a protein shake. I'm out of here.